You gotta give me something.
Wait, the stuff about the woodchuck wasn't doing it for you?
Well, we weren't recording,
Oh, God. Okay.
so
Do you want to try doing the tongue twister again?
Well, but I was so bad at the tongue twisters off mic. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick? Hello.
Oh,
There you go.
there you go. See, the first one was the warm up. This is the real one.
We already did. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Something.
Holy shit.
Okay,
I mean, that was amazing.
voiceover artist in the making.
The contrast between my, extremely slow recitation of that and you're just, rolling it off.
Yeah, but
impressive.
that's the only one I can do. I can't, do that with other...
You can't do how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if woodchuck could chuck wood?
No, I can.
That one's
probably do
easy.
that. But, that's not even a woodchuck. That's not a woodchuck. That's not even, a tongue twister, really. That's just,
Yeah. And as we were discussing, it doesn't make any sense.
Tongue twisters are more like grim fairy tales where they're like a little story that they're trying to tell.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know
I
how
think
grim picking peppers is, unless the pickling gets in your eye or something.
Well,
Maybe it's
you
like a
know,
metaphor.
It's like Ring Around the Rosie is about the Black Death.
Yeah.
'Cause
I think Jack and Jill's just about getting some damn water.
No, and then breaking your head.
Oh.
Jack
Broke
fell
his
down
crown.
Jack
and
fell down,
broke
broke his crown,
Yeah.
and Jill came tumbling after.
Yeah.
As like a murder-suicide?
No, I think Jill's fine.
Well, she's tumbling.
Yeah, but tumbling is okay. But Jack is sprawled out, brain probably spilling out of his crushed skull.
Humpty Dumpty situation.
Jill is just sort of rolling down the hill. Probably then leaving the scene of the crime.
It's like the Princess Bride where she jumps down the...
Yeah.
No single person wrote the classic Jack and Jill nursery rhyme. It evolved orally, with its first recorded version appearing around 1765 in Mother Goose's Medley.
There you go.
Initially featuring Jack and Jill's, but with a G, and differing slightly in lyrics.
Wait, Gack and Gill?
No, Jack and Gill.
Okay. The more you know.
Welcome to Discourse Pod, the podcast where we discuss the discourse, brought to you by Discourse Blog. Jack is here.
Ahoy hoy.
Producer Sam on the keys. And then back in our third chair, Rafi Schwartz. Welcome back. So good to have you.
Thank you. I would also say ahoy hoy, but Jack took it from me.
Did I do that deliberately? Yes.
Probably, yeah. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I literally did it deliberately because I wanted to mess with you.
And it worked. You
Girls,
threw me off
stop
again.
fighting.
Yeah.
But hi, Rafi.
Hi.
Rafi, how are you hanging in there,
Oh.
given gestures broadly to the current situation? Do you want to fill the folks in at home on where you are and what's going on?
I am in the beautiful twin cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota, where it is currently 16 degrees and snowing, which is nice, actually. People are very excited about that because it will potentially slow down and disrupt the federal goon squads that are terrorizing the city.
I hope this happens for you. I don't wish snow upon anyone. Apparently, we're about to get hit with a huge storm here in New York, like any moment now over this weekend. But if it does stop the impending invasion,
Yeah. Well, the invasion isn't
Goon
pending.
Squad?
The invasion is...
the invasion's there,
Yeah.
I should say.
Will there be more hilarious videos of their cars sliding off the road and they're, slipping on the ice and falling on their stupid heads?
Super cut of ICE officers eating shit, like blooper reel. Rafi, you had an amazing blog this week about your firsthand experience of what it's been like in the city the past week or so. Could you tell us a little bit more about what it's been like for you, what it's been like for your family, what you've heard from your neighbors and your friends and your community?
Yeah, sure. We've been very lucky so far, I should say, my family. Our block has not been particularly affected. The immediate neighborhood that I'm in is relatively safe. I just got an alert that they're 5-6 blocks away. So we're, safe. Our kids are all safe and we're largely staying sequestered at home. But it's bad. I want to say it's 4,000 troops, officers, gun-toting people here now. I think it's like 2-1, 3-1 them to the cops. So it's really they're the dominant presence in the city everywhere. Driving like maniacs. I mean, we're talking kidnappings that are, 2-3 minutes. They pull up, they pull a guy in the car, and they pull away before any sort of rapid response can get there, acknowledge what happened. Schools are closed. St. Paul schools are going to remote learning. Minneapolis have been closed since last week. There was a report today of St. Paul Public School van with kids and teachers in it getting pulled over. It sounds like nothing happened after that, but like businesses getting, raided, homes getting doors kicked in, especially in North Minneapolis, which is the historically black neighborhood, many different neighborhoods in the north side of Minneapolis, but that's where the shooting that took place this week was that prompted the pretty significant response. I mean, flashbangs and grenades and green smoke. And if you saw news reports, there was a guy who was trying to get his family out of North Minneapolis that night, and they threw a flashbang into his car. He had 6 kids in the hospital. A toddler, I think, wasn't breathing for a while. I mean, it's everywhere, and it is inescapable. It's just...
God,
yeah.
that sounds terrible.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I didn't quite realize until reading your blog, which, like Alex, I encourage everyone to read. I think it's one of the best things you've ever done for Discourse Blog.
Thank you.
Is just how, like, all-encompassing, totalizing, like, the experience of having these ICE agents, like, running amok through the Twin Cities is. I think it's hard for people who are not there to comprehend, like, just how deeply they have embedded themselves into every single facet of life there.
Yeah.
You just said that, like, you feel okay because, like, ICE agents are only 5 blocks away from you.
That's what I saw. I saw an alert. Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, that's
close.
That's really close to you.
Yeah.
And so, like, what does it feel like when you go outside? What does it feel like just sort of on, like, an hour-by-hour level to have such a huge, overwhelming, like, invading, occupying force, which is what you described it as in your blog, just there 24/7?
I will give you an example. My window faces out into the street, and I just had to watch a car drive past and check to see, tinted windows, what type of license plate, that type of stuff. And it was fine, but, that's what it is. Like, you are constantly on the lookout for everything. And it's everyone. I mean, it's people on the street. It's just, you walk down the street and everyone's looking for the same thing. Everyone has their whistles out. If you go out at around, from 2:30 to 3:30 at any school, you're going to see a dozen people standing in high-vis vests waiting to help, like, chaperone kids to their parents or to the school bus. Restaurants are closed. Restaurants that aren't closed are doing weird hours or, like, making very overt pleas, like, help us or please understand that we're closed because of our workers. I'll give you an example, too. We were having some work done in our house to fix a plumbing problem. And I asked our contractor, I said, are you having trouble this week? He's like, oh, yeah, my guys aren't coming in. My job this week is to tell them that, like, you're still my guy and you do what you do to stay safe. Like, it's just every facet of everyday, driving around, walking around life is consumed by this.
Ugh, that's miserable. I'm sorry you're having to experience this, even in relative safety.
Yeah. It's exhausting.
It sounds exhausting. Like, this is no way to be living for anyone.
Nope. And I'm lucky. Again, I want to be extraordinarily clear that I am lucky. And also, like, I'm not one of the people on the front lines of the protest. Like, there are very experienced and accomplished organizers who are doing incredible work on that front. And I don't want to take, credit for what they're doing or anything like that. Like, I am safe and not in the trenches doing, like, patrol follows and stuff like that. Will Stancil, who I believe has been
Oh,
gently
him.
mocked on the blog before, perhaps.
Yes.
But he's out in his Honda Fit, like driving through alleys, like tracking ice patrols, and they like are following him to his apartment. Like it's a very
Jesus.
interesting experience where all these sort of local, notable, semi-notable characters around town have now like become this sort of public-facing action squad of demonstrating what it really means to be in this situation.
I want to just like ask you about a couple more things that you wrote about in your blog. One of the things that really struck me is that you said that your children are counting like the number of ICE vehicles
Yeah.
or DHS vehicles that
Yeah.
they see. Another thing you said was that your local gas station was this like the site of this brutal like arrest.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to have your children, the places that you go to in your day-to-day life, affected in that way? You know, and what are you telling your kids about what's going on?
We're being honest. I think there's certain things that you've got to temper, certainly, age appropriateness. But it's even if we weren't being honest, like even if we were trying to hide it, it wouldn't happen. It's unavoidable. The kids are going to see it. They see the vans, they see the graffiti, they see the weed paste posters, like all that stuff. You can't exist here without seeing it. So there's no sort of respite that you can reasonably provide while still being like a responsible parent, I'd say. Like it's just if you exist in the Twin Cities, like it's just that's the reality that you're in.
Remind us, how old are your kids again?
11 and 7.
Yeah, so absolutely old enough to be
Aware
like,
of what's going on.
extremely aware of what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, they can read, the tags on the street. They can
Yeah.
read the posters and stuff. And even if they couldn't, kids are smart. They know something's going on. There was a walkout. All the St. Paul public schools had a big walkout. Every high school walked to the Capitol. Like there have been walkouts in Minneapolis schools for the last 2 weeks. It's not discreet enough that it couldn't be compartmentalized. And anyone who can compartmentalize it is, look, people can cope however they need to cope. I'm not trying to police that. But like if you're able to compartmentalize this that efficiently to be able to like live a normal life during this, then that's astonishing to me.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's really interesting because like everything that you are talking about, like the one sort of thing that I can think of that it sounds even remotely like, and even this is like very different, is COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you
know,
bring this up in your blog.
Yeah.
Like, the schools are going remote. Like everything has shut down. Everything feels totally out of control. You're having to stay inside your house. But like that was for like a naturally occurring disease. Like this is because
Well,
the
it's not
government-
proven
What'd
it
you
was
say?
natural. Well, it's not proven it's natural.
Okay.
Lab leakers, we hear you.
Someone ate a bat.
Okay. It is an occurring disease.
Yes.
Um,
Is a biological
You know.
process.
Yeah, like this is because the government took an active decision
Yeah.
to invade the Twin Cities and terrorize its population.
Yeah.
I really can't think of anything like this in at least the recent past.
No, I mean,
where like an entire city has been shut down because of something like this.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I think there was a federalization of National Guards for like peacekeeping was, I want to say, the LA riots, 92. Like, so it's been a long time. And that was like the sort of thing where it was a deliberate decision after these very sort of public processes leading up to it, the trial,
Right.
Everything like that. This was just essentially arbitrary. I mean, there's, whatever, a YouTuber comes to town to film a video about fraud at childcare centers in the Somali community or whatever. That's ostensibly the justification for all this. But really, it's just arbitrary. It's just this city that is unlucky enough to have gotten onto the president's bad side for many different reasons, all of which I'm fairly proud of. It's a different thing when it's a deliberate not understandable, but at least like recognizable phenomenon, not the unknown of a pandemic, but a very sort of, oh, this is what's happening to us. And I'd say the upshot of that is that because there isn't that sort of biological uncertainty like in the pandemic, like people have been incredible here over the last 2-3 weeks, especially. ICE has been here for, I think I want to say this is the 6th week of the surge, but last 2-3 weeks since the shooting, certainly. People have been unbelievable. I mean, you know, there's like these incredible hubs of resistance everywhere. And just like ordinary like parents wearing high-vis vests to like put their bodies outside of schools in case someone tries to kidnap staff or students, which has happened. Like teachers and faculty are being arrested at schools. So the difference between this and the pandemic, I think, is that there has been such an immediate and inspiring response that the pandemic didn't really allow for, but because this is something totally man-made and it's an issue of community, it's not an issue of health. People are showing up in extremely public, extremely brave ways, and in, you know, extremely not public ways. That's been really incredible, just wonderful to see.
What are some of the things you've heard about or witnessed or?
Yeah, every neighborhood has rapid response groups now. Every school has signal channels. Every house of worship, every faith community has people on the ground. Yesterday there were, 100 clergy members who went and did a sit-in at the CEO of Target's office because Target has been evidently letting ICE stage in their parking lots. Target is one of the major local businesses here, and so like there's been that type of stuff happening. On the ground, it's people just like running out of their house to be an observer and to be present when things happen. It's people tailing ICE, like driving around and following them and making sure that there's accountability. There's incredible mutual aid. I don't even know what you'd call operations happening. I mentioned this in the blog, but there's a intersection in Minneapolis, the Lynn Lake intersection, that's got a sex shop on one corner, and there's a pizza place and a leather shop. I think it's not an exaggeration to say like that is the hub of like that part of Minneapolis's response to this. And like they have chased away ICE people who have come to their block. There's a video recently.
Oh yeah.
The pizza parlor, Rectangle Pizza. If you're ever in the Twin Cities, come to Rectangle Pizza. Just like running these people off because they've like established this bulkhead on their intersection. This is our community. And that stuff's happening everywhere. You know, restaurants are booing ICE agents out, and everyone's talking about like, what are the ways that we can help? How can we do things? And increasingly, what are the ways that there's going to be accountability?
I know we're going to get to like the broader political response of all of this, but before that, I wanted to harken back to another blog you wrote last year about how abolish ICE was always like the right thing to call for.
Did I write that?
As far as I remember, you did.
Your volume of blogs,
out of sight,
you
out of
know,
mind.
quite dwarfs the rest of us.
I don't. It's a sickness.
Yes, exactly. Yes, abolish ICE was always right. April 29th, 2025.
And I stand by it.
But well, thank you.
Yeah.
We all do. What was the context for that blog?
Trump's first 100 days.
Yes.
And,
Oh God. I keep forgetting it's only been a year of this shit.
Bill Kristol signing on to the abolish ICE movement.
He, by the way, as insane as it is, like every message he sends out is like, we need to have Nuremberg trials. Like there needs to be like marching in this. Like he is on the topic of
Bill Kristol, welcome to the resistance.
On the topic of the invasion of my city, he is doing really well. On everything else, I don't know. But like, it's such a galvanizing, momentous occasion that like even people like that are able to see us and go like, what the fuck is going on?
Even people like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
You know, people are seeing these videos and have eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I wanted to ask you about was like watching this sort of like really radicalizing moment for so many people who may have thought that like ICE wasn't about them.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of the things that I think allows people like Trump to gain power is that so many people they go, well, they're talking about someone else.
Right. It's not me. It's not my
when
problem.
they talk about like
Yeah.
we're gonna like cleanse America.
Right.
ICE isn't after me.
Right. But this is like such clear evidence that this is about
Right.
all of us.
The proof is in the pudding that everyone's seeing that it's omnidirectional.
Right. And so I'm just curious, like, what your thoughts are about that being at the center of all of this insanity, that if you just look around and like you look at polling and things like that, does seem to actually be shifting popular sentiment around
absolutely.
this, you know? And like, have you sensed that in your own like community as far as you can tell?
Yes and no. I think there's, especially after the uprisings of 2020, and certainly for decades before that too. I mean, the Twin Cities have always been a very progressive, in some respects. I don't want to whitewash the ways that it hasn't been, but in some respects, it's been a very progressive place with a strong organizing history and a textured communal history where, sort of ethnic enclaves have really been incorporated into these neighborhoods as like organic parts of the city. And so I think in that respect, it's not as surprising to see the response. What is surprising to me is how rabid people are. I want to say people are
Enraged.
People are furious. People are like furious to the point of not being able to spit out sentences. Like it's just the incandescent rage is very real. And coming from, there's like this whole, at least online, there's this whole like, oh, it's just now they've awoken the wine moms, which, whatever. I understand the sort of sociological whatever behind it, but like they haven't awoken the wine moms. Like they've pissed off everybody. It's not wine moms. It's grandparents. It's veterans. It's people from out of the cities. I mean, when we talk about outstate here in Minnesota, we're talking about the sort of non-metro areas that are typically more conservative, at least with little kind of pockets, universities and stuff. And people are driving up into the cities to be like, this is fucked up. That's been really surprising. It's, I guess, the intensity. Well, not surprising because it's the obvious and only responsible, reasonable response to all this. But it's impressive and notable, like how people want something. I just made this joke yesterday that Gavin Newsom did some podcast where he like walked back saying that he thinks ICE are terrorists after all. And
the one with Ben Shapiro.
Is that who it was?
I'm like,
Jesus fucking Christ.
So first of all,
doing,
it was fuck that guy.
He's such a
forever
piece
and
of
ever.
shit.
Yeah, fuck him in both ears. But also, like, it would be if he backed off that, like the mood in the Twin Cities certainly would be like they would not vote for a Democrat. Like the idea of taking your foot off the gas of the pressure on them is anathema. It would be ridiculous. It would be the first time since Carter that they wouldn't vote for a Democrat.
Yeah, the center of gravity is actively changing.
Yes,
it sounds like
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Speaking of our long national nightmare, in addition to that Gavin Newsom interview, there's been quite an interesting array, and by interesting I mean infuriating, response from our supposed opposition party, the Democrats. I think one brought to our attention this week includes Congressman Richie Torres proposing, what if we put QR codes on ICE agents as a means of surveillance and accountability?
Who's fucking using QR codes in 2020? Like, I thought we all collectively agreed that we were done with that shit. Just as a society. I don't know why we're bringing this back into the debate when it's like about Nazis. Like, we were done with that when it was fucking menus.
Richie Torres still loves going to restaurants where the menu is a QR code. I have a feeling.
Put it on.
Anyway. He probably does because he sucks so much. I just want to read what he wrote about it. I'm introducing the Quick Recognition (parentheses QR) Act,
Motherfucker.
Which requires ICE and CBP officers to wear uniforms featuring QR codes. When scanned, the code would generate a digital ID displaying the officer's name, badge number, and law enforcement agency. ICE should be unmasked both physically and digitally.
I swear to
cool,
God.
Man.
Send the meteor
Awesome.
right now.
Awesome.
I mean, like,
make sure they've got their pieces of flair.
yes. I just cannot imagine what situation like Richie Torres is picturing about this. It's like, oh,
None
you
that
have
have happened
some-
here.
Like, you have some crazy ass complete maniac who, like,
They're all 20. They're like it's like a bunch of kids.
yeah, and people who are like deliberately being hired because they have no business.
And they're, you know,
Yes, because they're fascists who have no business like doing any job that involves the public in any sense, and certainly like should not be carrying around like deadly weapons.
Right.
Like, you know, we've seen all of the like endless like footage, not only of like ICE murdering somebody like in the past week or so, but just like going completely nuts
yeah.
on people all over the Twin Cities. You know, like that crazy ass footage of them like busting through that woman's car.
Oh, the one on the way to the doctor's appointment?
Yes.
Who I read that the doctor's appointment she was going to was because of neurological damage she got from getting clubbed in the head by a cop.
Right.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And so, like, is the idea that in that situation, you're going to be like, excuse me, sir, could you just, like, pause
Hold still so
for
I
a
can-
minute while, like, from your beating of me?
Right.
So that I can reach for my phone, place it, like, near enough to you to get your QR code,
Right.
like, make sure that it's in focus, because we all know, like, it takes a second to get the QR code in focus. Then, like, access the code.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, now I know your name. And so maybe you will stop.
Kicking the shit out of me.
Yeah, you'll stop, like, busting my head in.
Yeah.
Like, how dumb do you have to be?
It's the inverse of the Kavanaugh stops, I think. It's like that level of detached, like, oh, of course things will be fine because this is how it's supposed to go. And, you know, everyone will play by the rules, which is stupid. And I don't know if Richie Torres is genuinely that dumb. He might be. Or if he's just like trying to
I
cravenly,
think a safe bet.
you know, straddle the we still love cops vote. I don't know. But it is laughable. Now, what I will say is that one of the things that has been flattened in a lot of respects, both good and bad, is that there are different types of actions to be taken, you know, during all this. Like there are protests, but then there's also constitutional observing, and they will say like you stand back from ICE, you give them 10 feet, like you don't get involved physically, and you are supposed to do that in groups of multiple people, and like, okay, whatever. So, you know, things that would make identification easier are not bad, like, and there are certain circumstances where that doesn't run counter to what is like the sort of recommended behavior in those specific circumstances. But as like a solution to this fucking mess, it's like, well, why don't the Gestapo wear name tags? Like it's not addressing the issue. It's not addressing like what's actually the problem here.
Right. It's like all of these things, it's like you can tinker around the edges as much as you want, but eventually you have to accept like the reality that there is not a solution to this crisis that does not involve. And this is, you can sort of say this about like the era we're in overall.
Yeah.
Like there is not a way through this that does not involve like salting the earth.
Yeah, you got to strip it down to the studs and like rebuild.
Yeah. And like I always say that one of the things that I never like to see is people going like, oh, well, ICE is out of control. Because to me, this is actually ICE in control, because the function of
They could not be more in control.
because the function of organizations like this is to instill terror, is to indiscriminately brutalize people, is to like further embed fascism within society.
Yeah.
You know, out of control suggests that there's a version of these institutions that is controllable in a way that like is like morally, legally, like
Tolerable.
civically appropriate or tolerable, exactly. And it suggests that there's also a way to get there that doesn't involve like fundamentally
Right.
facing like the reality of what these people
We're
are
going
and
to
what they're trying to
incrementalize
do.
our way towards a better, everything. I
Right.
think part of that is that people are fundamentally misunderstanding what ICE is. It's certainly not here anymore at all, but I think broadly nationally, I think there is still a pretty strong sentiment that ICE is, they're the cops. They're police, and they're doing their police jobs, and they're there as like a part of the fabric of the city you're in to do the job of law enforcement. And I think there are people who still believe that. And I think what has happened over the past couple of weeks, certainly, is that that illusion has been dealt a potentially fatal blow. I think certainly there are cracks in that narrative. And we're seeing the sort of divergent responses to that, one of which is I think there's starting to be a sense among people in the White House that like, oh, maybe we fucked this up. Maybe we took it a little too far. Maybe we're the dog that caught the car. And they don't quite know how to get out of that. And the converse of that is, in the meantime, there's just going to be more wild. I mean, you say they're out of control, and I agree with all of your points, except for there isn't linguistically like a better turn of phrase to use, when you describe a dozen guys jumping out of 3 pickups, beating the shit out of some guy at a bus stop, pulling him in the back of a van and driving off. I think there are failures of language here that are really making themselves known. And
I guess it's like this weird sort of like situation where they are being directed to be what we would recognize as out of control.
Yes. Out of control also, I think, is, they talk about, oh, well, they're not well trained and maybe they'd have better training. And it's the same thing with the QR codes where it's like, well, sure, great. Maybe someone's not going to drop their magazine of assault bullets like on the ground, which is what happened in North Minneapolis. I mean, like, the issues of them not being trained are like, there are dangerous situations outside of like their aggressiveness that they're not being trained is putting people in. Like they're dropping smoke grenades just like off their belt. Like they're just leaving shit around town. It's the same sort of situation where like I can understand why there are people who would advocate for that. But again, I think it's back to that same fundamental misunderstanding of what ICE is and what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. And this idea that they could be better trained and they could have more transparency. This isn't changed with the fundamental assignment.
Right.
We have given this agency, which is to
terrorize,
round people up, and we've done this all along, kill people in cold blood.
Yeah.
Like
these aren't just like traffic cops.
No.
Right,
And it's this weird
exactly.
combination too, like the one who shot Renee Good. Like he'd been in CBP for like a decade, 15 years, something like that. He was a veteran before that. He was with ICE before that. Like this guy had been through the training process a million times over. Like that's not the issue. The issue is that the fundamental purpose of this is violence towards whomever is most
In the way.
advantageous to be violent towards.
And also, like, it's all well and good to be like, let's do training, let's do this, let's do that. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I think all of these things should go much further, but even taking that like as a possible like response to this, if you're not also alongside that going to address the fact that in like the words of the Trump administration, these people have absolute immunity,
Right.
which like, do they legally have absolute immunity? Probably not. Do they functionally have like near total immunity?
Right.
Absolutely.
And unless you
just
can-
like,
And in this round of the Trump administration,
yeah,
it's good enough.
just like the police, like there's such an incredibly high bar, like you basically have to be Derek Chauvin to get convicted if you're a terrible, murderous cop,
Yeah.
because you are inherently granted this level of immunity and impunity. And
And
if you're going to like train people and then, and say, oh, well, as long as like, you remember section 7G, like,
Yeah.
that doesn't matter if you know that.
It doesn't matter if you don't.
violate that. Nothing will happen to you.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's definitely true. The messages of immunity are for the officers and the agents to reinforce with one another. It's about getting them to hype each other up to do more and more things, not this sort of promise of actual, because we know that like this administration will throw people in the fucking under the bus. They don't give a shit about people. They're not going to stick their neck out for immunity if something were to happen for one of these guys, unless there's something advantageous for them to do it. Turn.
Although I could also see Trump pardoning Jonathan Ross.
Well,
like
not if it's a state charge. Although he is trying he's trying to do that in Colorado too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I what I will say is, because you brought up Derek Chauvin, I am mildly comforted by the fact that if there is a legal team in the country that can secure some sort of judicial action, it's the Attorney General and Hennepin County Attorney, who are like Mary Moriarty was elected on a be tough on cops line, and Keith Ellison is no bullshit about that stuff either. So like, to the extent that you fight with the army you've got, like that feels at least somewhat optimistic that there will, like, if things don't happen, it won't be for a lack of trying. Like they're not going to half-ass it.
Rafi, what are the like cultural things that have been getting you through
exactly
this period?
What is making you laugh to keep from crying?
I watched The Lowdown last weekend, and it's fantastic. I would recommend everyone watch it. It's the Sterling Harjo, Ethan Hawke, Keith David.
Yes, I've heard about this.
And on FX, I want to say it's on Hulu. The whole first season is out. It's not an easy watch this week in particular. It's about, structures of white supremacy and how they sort of permeate cities, and, how politicians are not necessarily guilty, but they're complicit. And it's phenomenal. It's incredibly funny. The acting is great. It makes Tulsa seem like an interesting place, which,
if you say so.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's shockingly funny. It has one of the funniest scenes I've seen on TV in probably all year. And so, yeah, that's been getting me through. And then Shoresy. I've been watching Shoresy.
I don't even know what Shoresy is.
Shoresy is a Canadian hockey comedy. It is Heated Rivalry is Jacob Tierney, who is the director of the show that Shoresy is spun off from.
Okay.
There's a whole nebulous web.
Mention Heated Rivalry, suddenly I'm interested.
Yeah.
Have you watched Heated Rivalry?
I have not watched Heated Rivalry. I live in a house that watches. No. I haven't watched Heated Rivalry. I watched the show that Shoresy was spun off from, which was created by the guy who created.
Got it. And what's that show?
Okay.
I've seen parts of Heated Rivalry. It's good.
Yeah, don't watch it with your children.
No.
It's not a kid-friendly show.
No. I just read that the NHL commissioner binged the whole thing, which I think is very funny because he's like an 85-year-old guy.
It's bringing people together.
Yeah.
Yes.
In horniness.
It's making hockey games very funny. A lot of overt homoerotic, as opposed to the subtle homoeroticism of hockey, but a lot of like they should kiss. Like make the players kiss. Yeah.
I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
We know for a fact that people like it.
Yes. They're into it. They'll watch it once a week.
Jack, do you have a recommendation this week?
Well, I mean, I will admit that the thing I'm still watching the most is The Traitors, because it's on 3 times a week, 3 nights in a row. So it's a big commitment. So still highly.
You're still talking about UK Traitors?
Still talking about UK. Oh my! This week was like fucking insane. So much crazy shit happened.
If I've never seen The Traitors, is this a good season to start?
You got to watch, Rafi.
Yeah. There's very 2 distinct sort of flavors. The OG UK version, which is where it all started. It is perfect,
and they're all like B celebrities, right?
No, that's America.
Oh, okay.
The UK version is just normies, and the stakes have never been higher. Okay. You're putting people who have never been on TV.
Yes.
On TV together, and it is just
It's so good.
You know,
Okay.
it is a modern. I don't know how we're getting away with this. This is like watching the Stanford prison experiment.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And basically, it's
Yes.
what it is. Like we're torturing these poor people.
Service
Yes.
television.
And then the American version that has been adapted is primarily celebrities.
Right.
There was the very first season had some regular people, but they were like, wait a minute, that's not really what we do here in America.
But it's
Our
like,
whole thing
but
is
they're
around
like
TV.
comedians and stuff. It's like Jason Mantzoukas
Yeah.
and like Ron Funches, I think, is on this season or something.
Yeah, a lot of Bravo people are on it. Comedians, reality stars, but like Survivor contestants, people on Big Brother.
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit of a mix, and people who are used to be on TV. So it's just a very distinct, different flavor.
Sam is saying
But-
that famous chef, Kristen.
Yeah, Kristen Kish, the winner and host of Top Chef, is on this season
God.
of
Oh,
American
the-
Traitors.
Oh, well, but of course.
the Asian
of
woman
course,
with the bob?
because it's corporate synergy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lots of NBC Universal family showing up. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I recommend any of that. The like classy thing that I saw this week, well, I saw it this past weekend, which I do recommend, is Sentimental Value, which I think you saw as well, Alex.
Yes, the latest from, how are we saying his name? Joaquin Trier?
Joaquin Trier or Trier,
Trier?
or something like
Yeah.
that. You know,
He's Nordic.
some Norwegian thing. And he did Worst Person in the World from a few years ago. This one, I think, I'm trying to remember. I might have liked it more than Worst Person in the World, actually. You know, it's not like the greatest movie I've ever seen, but I thought it was quite moving in many different places. It's about this famous director, and surprise, surprise, like everyone loves him in public, but he has a terrible relationship with his children. And
As old as time.
yeah, and then he decides that he wants to make a movie that's like sort of semi-autobiographical, and he wants his estranged daughter, who's an actor, to star in it, and then many different things happen. The story is a little, like, as you can tell from that little summary, like it's a little bit like we've seen this before.
Right.
You know, like movie people making a movie about movie people, a strange dad, like, and his daughter, will they patch up their differences, blah,
A
blah,
lot
blah,
of
blah, blah.
deep Scandinavian emotions.
Lots of deep Scandinavian emotions, but the acting is uniformly, like, really excellent. It sort of, like, builds these, like, several different layers, like the relationships between the different people in the family, the history of the family, like tying that into the history, like, of the movies that the dad makes, you know. And I thought the ending especially pulled everything together in, like, this really powerful way. It's lingered with me a little bit, which is more than I can say for a lot of movies. So yeah, recommend Sentimental Value.
This isn't a spoiler, but what the ending Jack is referring to includes a kind of a upending of the filmmaker cliche of the oneer, right? There's a very, like, bravura, like,
Yes.
technically very masterful oneer that is, like, working on a meta-textual level also in a way that is quite impressive. I will
and
give you
like,
that.
and narratively, I was really
Yes.
impressed by it because it collapses, like, what we think of as, like, the real world of the film and, like, the movie within a movie, and it does it in a way that I was really, really impressed by.
Yeah. My recommendation this week is, I feel like I'm turning into such a cliche. I'm turning into a Brooklyn, wine mom, basically. I'm recommending the HBO Max original series, The Pit, which just returned for its second season.
Are you a pit watcher, Rafi?
No, too stressful.
Okay, yeah,
It is quite stressful.
I'm not a watcher either.
I've decided
High octane.
I don't need that stress.
You don't need it.
Yeah, I'm
You
good.
don't need it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
You're all
enough.
good.
But
I totally
people
get it.
love the pit.
Listen, let me tell you, and I'm among them. I'm, the fan community, we call ourselves pitties,
Not
we're
pitters?
getting in our cage.
Pitter patters.
No, we're pitties. We're locked in the cage, Dr. Robbie. And it really is so crazy to me that we're just letting Noah Wiley basically play the same character again.
Yeah.
Like kind of 15 to 20 years later. Albeit, right, it's from the same creator. He's just sort of like, we're doing it this way this time. If for folks who aren't familiar, The Pit is sort of, what if 24, the Kiefer Sutherland show, and ER were one show? Where it's like happening in real time. Every hour is an hour of real time in a hospital shift. This season is set on the 4th of July in Pittsburgh.
Oh, God.
Which will bring about
How many
God knows what
fucking
nightmares.
fingers are going to be destroyed?
Exactly. And last season, towards the end of poor Dr. Robbie's shift, there was a mass shooting at a music festival.
Oh, naturally.
So,
well, it is
cool.
America.
It's not really something you have to suspend your disbelief of. And I heartily recommend The Pit streaming Thursdays on Max. They're not paying me, but I would welcome being paid by them to promote their original program.
HBO, like and subscribe.
I don't think we're allowed to say like and subscribe for anything but Discourse Blog.
No, I'm
Well, you should be liking
I'm
and
instructing
subscribing
them
this.
to like and subscribe us.
Oh, okay, got it.
I'm
Okay, all good.
I'm putting it out in the universe.
Yes.
Speaking of subscribing, folks should stick around, especially for if you're a paid subscriber to the blog. It's about to get real interesting.
Yeah. After
Because
dark.
we're rolling out a brand new feature just for paid subscribers, which we're tentatively calling Discourse Pod After Dark,
Kinda step.
or Discourse Blog, the director's cut, Discourse Blog, the extended version. We'll settle on the name just like we settled on our closing segment, which came abruptly, but we decided to lean in.
Yes.
Which is how we do everything here, which is we just kind of talk out loud and find it ourselves. It's a new modality in sort of discursive therapy.
A journey in podcast form.
Literally,
right.
we're
That's right.
doing it live. But for folks who choose not to pay and want to miss out, come back next week for a whole new episode.
But you're
Until
missing out.
then, bye.
Bye.
Discourse Pod is a production of Discourse Blog. I'm your host, Alex Chan. Jack Merkinson is my co-host. Our producer, editor, and art director is Sam Grasso. You can listen to every episode of Discourse Pod at discourseblog.com, on the Substack app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.